Hi, this is Luis Souza from rawveganpower.com, and I'm very excited today to have here with us Traudl Woelhke from Germany. She's a raw food expert for many years. She's one of the beginners in the raw vegan movement in Germany, and she has a very cool page, the Raw Food for You page on Facebook. And she just launched a very cool book that is in Amazon, Raw Food for Babies. I really love this topic because once we understand that raw foods are good for us, we also understand that we should be doing that much earlier in our lives, right? Even before we are born, right? And that's the reason I'm very glad to welcome now Traudl. Welcome, Traudl. So good to
Hello.
have you here.
Welcome to you too, and thank you for having me with you. I'm very glad to spread the good news and looking forward to our conversation.
Great. Well, Traudl, first things first. Then
Yes.
I know you for some time now, and I know you a little of your story, but I would like you to share it, to tell
Oh,
your story, how you started being a raw vegan in the first place, because I know that people who are watching us now would love to know you better.
yeah. Well, it's been a long time. I'm 65 now, and it started actually when I was around 21. I had a summer job in an American hospital as a nurse aide and worked on a floor with many stroke and cancer patients. You know, at 21, you are healthy and happy, and you don't know much about life's hardships. And there I saw these people absolutely helpless. I remember especially one old man. He was of German descent, could speak some German, so he was happy to have his native language with me. He was unable to shave his face. They were unable to wash themselves, to go to the bathroom, and I was so utterly helpless. And well, of course, I did what my job was. I helped them to the best as I could. I even shaved that old man because nobody else had done it, even though I had never shaved anybody before. So it was very, in a way, it was funny that I did things, just because I thought it was necessary. But then I figured never in my life do I want to end up like that. I do not want to have anyone take care of me, have to take care of me like this. I don't want to turn out be so helpless and sick like those people I had seen in the hospital. And well, that was the impression I took home with me. And I went to college, continued my education. Then I got pregnant with my first child, and well, I knew sugar was bad. That's all I knew about health and nutrition. So I made very sure I didn't eat any sugar, and my child later on didn't get any sugar. But my mother was diagnosed with high cholesterol, and the doctors told the kids, my brother and me, that we should get an exam too, and they found that in my blood too. So I followed the diet the doctor told me to, which, from what I know now, was very bad. All processed foods, just exclude fat, but eating sugar and all that junk stuff. And I was dumb enough to follow that doctor's advice. Well, somehow but I have had some other characteristic for myself. I'm very curious, and I loved to eat whole grain bread, especially pumpernickel. So I wanted to make it myself, wanted to learn how to make it myself. At that time, there was not much information available, no cookbooks like instructions how to make healthy food like we have now. But I found a book that taught me how to make whole grain bread. And this book also included a lot of information on nutrition as a whole, what processed food does to us, and the preferences and the benefits of raw food. And I found, well, after I learned about this, I immediately changed our food at home. I tried to, started doing absolutely nothing processed and very little cooked food. But I found this doesn't work for me. If I tell myself that I cannot have something, I just want it, just because I cannot have it. So we slowed down and made it slowly. And after a year or two, we found, the family found, we no longer want this kind of food, this industrial food, and the family accepted it. The kids were small enough, when they are young, it's easy to guide them in that direction. When they are older, it's a lot harder. Yeah, that's actually how I started. Then I found more information. Once you are interested in something, things just also come to you. You don't have to do much.
And what would be your daily routine now? I mean, because it's pretty impressive. I would like you to share it.
For myself?
Yeah, because I know that you do a lot of exercise, right?
Yes. Every morning at 5 o'clock, I take a 20 kilometers bike ride to take care of stray cats who had lost their home in a fire. And they get raw cat food, which I make every week for them and freeze it in daily portions and bring them water when it's hot like it's now. And I go back home and, well, at first I was very, very tired after such a bike ride, but now it's just as normal. It doesn't tire me anymore. So, I get my fitness by feeding raw food to 6 cats. And then when I get home, it's usually around 7 in the morning. I make my own breakfast, which is a raw cereal. Then usually I also prepare all the vegetables and salads for the rest of the day because I don't like to interrupt my work all the time and I'm running to the kitchen, except when I am tired of writing, then I get up and go to the kitchen, do something else. And yeah, and I find that I need only about 2 meals a day because my breakfast is very satisfying. And twice a week I take an additional bike trip to help with our horses. My daughter has a dozen horses, and 2 days a week I go there all day, which is pretty tiresome. It's 17 k's from here, plus in addition to the 20 k's I have done for the cats. And then doing physical labor all day, no matter if it's hot or cold or raining or whatever have you. So, but it's...
I think you don't have so many friends with your age who do all that you do, right?
Oh, they can forget them. They all sit in the doctor's office and wasting their time in the waiting room for the doctor. I have younger friends who are better off.
When was the last time you went to a doctor?
I don't know. I go to the dentist about once a year because that's also what I have learned. changes in your general health condition show first in your mouth. So I take this as my health check, to make sure, because a few years ago, my daughter was having an awfully hard time, and I had to work with the horses every day and for 14 hours. And at that time, I was not able to take good care of myself, just surviving somehow. And of course, if you do it for any length of time, this will show in your health.
I see.
And so I make very sure I find out early my gums are still in very excellent condition. And typically, people in my age and even younger have periodontal disease, bleeding gums, and all that stuff. Never had it, because that's my breakfast cereal that really helps to keep this. And the teeth are generally healthy too. And I avoid processed foods by all means. And I do not always avoid cooked foods, because I like potato or green beans, and in addition to the raw food, but I do strictly avoid processed foods, which, yeah.
And they should be avoided by pregnant women and women who are new moms, right? And
Yes,
let's talk about your book then, Traudl, Raw Foods for Babies.
yes.
What would be, in your opinion, in your expert opinion, what would be the best nutrition for a pregnant woman who is maybe in her third month or so?
Oh, it's the same as for everybody else, actually. She needs well, no, let me go. Yeah, she needs a large share of raw foods, which consist of vegetables that are grown under the ground and above the ground, and about 1/3 of her whole raw food can be fruits. And it's very important that she includes a raw cereal dish. It doesn't have to be more than 3 tablespoons, or about 60 grams of any kind of raw grain. It can be sprouted, it can be shredded, it can be blended and put into a smoothie, but she'll get enormous health benefits, and her milk quality, if she is breastfeeding. No, she is pregnant, yeah, but this will help also for the baby to grow and good bones and an overall health. So 1/3 of her raw food should be leaves and tomatoes and above the ground, and 1/3 should be roots. And well, including a little bit of nuts and seeds, about a teaspoon or two a day is enough. But if she feels like eating more, she can, because the need of natural fats varies with every individual. So if she feels like eating lots of avocados, she can do it. She does not have to count calories or anything. Just
In,
for
in your book, you have also 50 recipes, right,
in
from your collection. So cool.
yes, well, we are talking now about the pregnancy book, yeah? Or are we talking about the baby food book?
The baby food, raw foods for
Okay, so
babies.
let's, my second book, Raw Food in Pregnancy, is just about ready to be published.
Oh,
And
fantastic. But I'm seeing here your book in Kindle, and you have lots of recipes for babies as well, right? I mean, for the woman who is pregnant and wanting to have a good health during her pregnancy.
yeah, but we are now talking about the baby food book. This book includes also at least 50 recipes, if not more. And there is a whole section on um, alternatives to commercial formula. You know,
That's
breastfeed.
very cool, Traudl. I really love this, because the first time I hear that there is an option. Usually, moms are so used to go to the supermarket and buy something commercial.
Yeah.
Tell us something about that as well, please.
Yes, and of course, if a woman can breastfeed and has milk, by all means, she should give this to the child. But there are situations when this cannot be done, and there is a natural is a way of feeding a child natural raw foods from the first day of his existence, and those children thrive, and they stand out from other children. They are not bloated. They don't get sick very easily. And if they get an infection later on, well, they overcome it easily by a few days of fever. And those the important thing is it's safe to follow this. It's based on raw grains, and you can either add almond milk, which has to be made for every single meal, and or if you can get a good quality of raw cow's milk, this can be an option, but it's a very individual decision. But children have been raised with raw cow's milk in combination with raw grains, and they have been raised with almond milk in combination with raw grains. And the almond milk is important for children who tend to have allergies, and skin problems, depending
I
on
see.
yeah, and it's more convenient for the mother to choose the animal milk, and this is given only for as long as the baby, it's natural formula, let's call it this way, the grain-based baby food, uh, is given only until the child is old enough to eat more solids. So we start feeding solids rather early because you want to get rid of the milk. The milk is a transitional food, which only for a certain period of life, and it's not made for adult food, for older humans. So if the mother no longer has breast milk or does not have breast milk at all, you should not aim at bottle feed the baby for as long as you would breastfeed a baby. So there is a slow transition by introducing a little bit of raw food with the bottles of the natural baby food, and then after several weeks, you increase it gradually more and more. And after a certain period, you just feed one bottle, or depending on the child. Some children insist on their bottles, they can have it, but they get at least one vegetable meal and one fruit meal every day. And they do get that raw cereal, which has such enormous health benefits that that increases all raw vegan power by 100% if you include this.
And what would be a simple recipe? I mean, simple formula that maybe one mom who is watching us now could use a
Well,
very simple,
it's
few ingredients and very fast and easy to do. What would be it?
Depending, of course, on what is it. Do you want a recipe for the mother or for the baby?
For
And
the
the
baby.
depends on the age, you know. It's easiest to make a puree of raw apples or a banana, you know. Just squeeze it with a fork.
I
Or,
like that.
that smart stick or
Yeah.
a blender is it makes too much mess. I like to use those smart sticks and just mix a little bit banana with apple. Add yeah, and feed it to the baby. That's or take a carrot. You know, carrots are also very much very important for the babies, and just blend it and add a little oil or
And
cream.
one more question. Uh, I see the simplicity of this uh, homemade recipe, right? You can do it yourself. I can do it, and so on. Uh, are there any problems? I mean, any how can I say side effects? I mean, or things that
Risk
should
to
risks for the baby when the baby is eating commercial formulas.
yes, he will never be able to be healthy. You know, it's they uh, they get fat very easily. They uh, they will have a preference for processed food when they are older, and they just cannot keep maintain their health, and they look different. They are bloated. You find that many of them have digestive problems. They are constipated or have diarrhea. They tend to have skin rashes. They become diabetics very early. There is a huge health risk. And the problem is, some of the things like skin and constipation and infections, throat infections are very common. And that's what you can tell early, that it shows. And that's what you can prevent by by feeding the baby all natural food, you know. And if a person continues the processed food, there is no way of staying healthy. It takes 20 or 30 years.
And what is there in commercial baby formulas that makes so dangerous for the baby?
It's just it's they take a natural product, let's say milk, and they make it durable, and this kills. And they take only parts of it, and recombine it, adding sugar and other, like fluorides are frequently added. They added artificial vitamins. It's not at all a natural food. In fact, and if it is a food that has it's powdered milk, which has the lowest biological quality possible. When there was an American doctor in the 1940s, Potentia, he fed cats with raw food and raw meat and raw milk. And he had some cat groups that he fed cooked pasteurized milk, evaporated milk, and milk powder. All the cats got sick. They did not get raw milk. And the interesting thing is that the cats were kept outside, the soil lost its fertility on milk that was not raw. If the cats, they had they fertilized the ground with their excretions, and the ground lost its fertility if the cats were not fed raw food. And just think what a consequence our way of eating has to the whole world. It's not just our own health, it's the health of our Earth, of our planet too. And that's what really important to bear in mind. So
Right.
it cannot keep the baby healthy. It gets sick very easily.
And the commercial formulas are cooked as well.
Pardon?
Are they
It's
cooked?
Yeah, they are worse than cooked. They are processed. They are taken. If you cook natural food, it's one thing, but if you take isolated parts of it, they take just certain parts of the milk and add other stuff, and then it has to be made tasty so the baby likes it. It's very sweet. So you have your sugar, and then because the vitamins have been destroyed by the industrial processing, they have to add other vitamins. But vitamins don't work just by themselves. They only work in a natural combination, the way they come in a natural food. And if you add them artificially and isolated, you do not get the same. It's the same, Louis. I like this picture. If you have a head and arms and legs and a corpse, put some hair on it, and combine this, you will not have a living human. It's you can have as many parts as you want, add some ears and a nose and skin and everything, but this thing will not be alive and will not be the same as a human, no matter, even if you could make it look alike and add some motor so it moves and acts like a robot, but it's not a human. And it's the same with our food, with the
Right.
processed food. It's dead. It's not alive, and it cannot do the same as a natural food.
So
So
when someone have gives some mom gives her baby bananas and apples mashed, it's much
yeah,
better.
yes, because all the nutrients the apple delivers, and the banana delivers, and the carrot delivers, and the lettuce delivers, they are all there. And they are easy to utilize by the baby, by the humans and for adults too. But the only difference for babies is that they cannot chew; they don't have teeth yet, and once they have teeth, that's you can make it. You don't need to puree it. You give the banana and the child, you know.
Well, one curiosity here. I read somewhere that the chemical composition of fruits is very similar to that of the breast milk, right?
Uh, it's almonds that is has the same composition of minerals. And Birger Benner is a famous Swiss doctor. He raised many babies on liquefied fruits or vegetables. He would just make puree it. So no nutrients were lost, and he many children have been raised like this. So it's because all the vitamins, all the protein of the whole um, food is in it.
That's right. Okay, Traudl, thank you so much for coming here, and I really appreciate that you took the time. And I'm going now to my last questions. Uh, what would be your first advice to someone who is starting? Maybe a mom who is watching us now, and she isn't already a raw vegan. She wants to start, and what would be your first advice to this mom?
Hmm. Start adding more salads with your daily meals and eat them, and omit all processed food. You know, if you don't want to start all raw, don't. But omit processed food, which is sugar and flour and all of that. You can cook, you know, some of it. You can cook your whole rice and all that, but add raw salads every day, and include a dish of raw cereal, which can be very easily made. You could either sprout it and add it with fruits like a fruit salad, or throw it in a smoothie, you know. That's because this raw cereal, this gives such tremendous health benefits and can compensate a lot of dietary mistakes we usually make, because you don't always have raw friends around. You go some other place, and when you're on vacation, you know, you don't have to be that strict if you don't want to. It's a lot easier if you allow yourself to be a little flexible. I think it's, but the processing of food is really what should be avoided.
I
So,
see. Well, and comparing the person you were before being a raw vegan and the person you are now, okay, being a raw vegan, what would be in one sentence, just one sentence, Traudl,
okay.
what would be your raw vegan power?
Oh, I I am. I don't know. You call it. We in Germany call it bouncing back all the time. Can't kill me.
Oh,
You know,
that's your power.
those little figures we had when we were children. They were heavy on the bottom and light on the top, and you put them to the side, and they always bounce back. And just, I like this, you know. Try to make that, and they come back, come back like this.
But how do you say this? The
Uh,
sentence would be, you can say, my raw vegan power is, and then you complete the sentence. How do you complete this sentence?
oh, I
Bounceable.
bouncing back. I'm always bouncing back.
Bouncing back. That's cool.
Yeah, and yeah,
You survive,
you
right?
can't kill me.
You
It's
thrive, right? Yeah,
yeah,
I understand what you mean.
but
No matter what happens, you always thrive, right? You
yeah,
always succeed. You always
I'm all,
uh, are alive. I see
and
what you mean.
I'm very strong.
Yeah, and you are very strong. Thank you so much, Traudl. It was a great pleasure to meet you today, and I really admire the work you are doing, instructing moms to have better and healthier children. And you who are watching, go now to Amazon and look for raw foods for babies. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much, Traudl. It was fantastic to meet you today. Bye bye.
Thank you, Luis, and thank you for your great work. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.